Project manager said, "If it's a problem, the pressure test will catch it." All right then, let's find out. Back when I was a junior engineer, I was working with a piping contractor supporting a gas plant project that was in the final stretch before commissioning. We were under intense pressure to hit deadlines, and everyone was feeling the heat. One of my responsibilities was reviewing materials before installation, i.e., basic quality control to make sure we weren't about to install something that would bite us later. Then the pipes arrived. These were large-diameter, high-pressure pipes for a critical gas line. But the moment I saw them, I knew something was off. The mill markings didn't match the material certificates, and some of the weld seams looked rough. When we took a closer look, we found surface defects and laminations at the bevel, classic signs of poor quality steel from a dodgy mill. I flagged it immediately. My lead engineer took one look and agreed. These pipes weren't fit for purpose. We raised it with the project manager, expecting him to do the obvious thing, that is, to reject the batch and order replacements from an approved supplier. But this PM wasn't like most project managers. He wasn't an engineer, had a Bachelor of Commerce, and had landed the job thanks to his uncle, a senior executive. He had zero technical knowledge and didn't care to learn. To him, just another job to push through quickly to up his bonus, and rejecting the pipes would cause delays, something he was desperate to avoid since it would probably affect his bonus. His response? The supplier says they meet spec, so they meet spec. Just install them and move on. I pushed back, explaining that if these pipes failed under pressure, we were looking at a major incident. He waved me off. Just get it done. If it's a problem, the pressure test will catch it. All right, mate. Let's see how that goes. The pipes were installed as is, and we moved on to pressure testing. I stood back and watched. As we ramped up the pressure, the pipe's weld seam split wide open and ruptured the pipe. The force of the failure sent a shock wave through the system, and a few of the pipe supports even bent. The pressure test failed, spectacularly. Now, instead of a minor delay to replace the pipes before installation, we had a catastrophic failure that shut down work for weeks. The entire line had to be cut out, re-welded, and retested. The supplier was blacklisted, and an internal investigation was launched into how the pipes had been approved in the first place. We were also made by the client to bear the cost of rework. As expected, the PM tried to shift the blame, but my lead engineer simply pulled up the email chain where we had clearly raised the defect concerns. Management didn't take long to connect the dots. The PM was taken off the project immediately and was sacked a month later following initial investigation results, and even his uncle couldn't save him. Never saw him again after that, and last I heard he decided to pursue a career outside of the industry.
Story 2. The judge orders the union to consult with our employer. We consulted all right. So this happened a while back with a large Australian hospital. The Friday before, ex-mass senior management dropped the dreaded restructure notice. Standard spiel about realignment, better patient outcomes, efficient practice, blah, blah, blah. They give notice to the staff and unions that consultation closes first week of January. The new employment structure will take place in February. Under the conditions of our industrial award, the employer must make genuine consultation available where the employee has the opportunity to change the employer's mind about making them redundant. The other thing is redundancy payouts are generally good in health in Australia, with a worker with 13 years work history gets a year's pay with $113,000, tax-free, plus entitlements such as annual leave and long service leave paid out. Each year you work, your redundancy increases in value to a maximum of 13 years. About 4 to 5%, 200 plus, of staff are going to be made redundant. The union launches into the industrial court, arguing that the time given, especially over Christmas, is insufficient. The court agrees and extends the time by 2 weeks, but issues 2 statements. 1. The industrial court will not slow down this restructure anymore. And 2. It strongly reminds the unions, there was multiple, that you can only consult. Hospital management see this as a big win and are bragging how they're going beat us. The unions have a combined meeting and decide that if the staff can only consult, then ask as many questions as we can. The members are asked to field as many questions as possible. My union alone gather 1,200 plus questions, with 700 of them unique, another 800 to 900 questions coming from the other unions. As you can imagine, management does not respond well to our combined 2,000 plus questions. They attempt to push on. We head back to court, where we remind the judge of his must-consult orders. The court tells our employer that they must answer the questions. The restructure is on hold by court order. What were the questions like? Some questions were about legal ramifications due to industrial award requirements, others about professional legal standards, some questions about day-to-day operations, and others about how they would be personally impacted. The court orders both sides to meet back in a month, and hospital management must answer all questions. We get our answers in 3 weeks' time that consist of yes, no, maybe, possibly, and unsure answers. All one-word answers. This is not genuine consultation. We head back to court, and the judge is furious about lack of real consultation. The hospital argue it's too many questions to answer, but the judge reminds them they only have to genuinely consult. Come June, we are in a legal holding pattern when hospital management declares that they are changing the restructure on feedback given and issues new restructure papers. The restructure will take place in 4 weeks' time. New restructure requires new consultation, which the hospital isn't willing to do. Back to court, the unions go to remind the judge about genuine consultation. We won again by just consulting. Come December, 1 year after starting all of this, the hospital hires a consultant to get the restructure done. She has the same attitude as the hospital management and tries to rush through the restructure without genuine consultation. We head back to court, and at this stage the judge has had enough and notes the unions have played by the rules and the hospital hasn't. We hit back with even more questions, and judge decides he will set down monthly meetings with him, chairing them to work through this mess. In total, the restructure takes over 3 years, with loss of a lot less jobs lost than expected. In fact, it was a fraction of jobs expected to go. In some departments, we gained jobs by arguing about workloads, etc. The vast majority of people who lost their jobs were close to retirement age and received a handsome payout. They also got 3+ years' pay as the restructure took place over that time. Some of the union's members had worked less than the 13 years' work history maximum payout before the restructure. The 3+ years of delay increased their payouts. All we did was consult by asking questions as the judge ordered.
All right, everyone, it's your turn to weigh in. Do you think this was a brilliant case of malicious compliance or just a little too much chaos? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Was this justice served or did it go too far? Let's hear your take on whether this was a masterstroke or a misfire. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that prove sometimes the best revenge is just following the rules perfectly. Can't wait to see what you think.